Hey there, good morning. The morning after the big poker tournament. I had to do the drive home of shame last night. I ended up busting out after about 6.5 hours and about 200th place of 686. I have no ill feelings toward the tournament at all. In fact, when I finally did get all my chips in the middle, I was ahead, and I was ahead on the flop. I was ahead on the turn, and then the river crushed my spirit. No, it didn't. But anyway, it was funny. I got up from the table, went up to the balcony, and took a quick shot of or video of all the tables because it's just such a massive place. In fact, I'll include that on the end of this video just to give you some perspective. But and then I walked out, got in my car, and drove home. It was great. I was home by, I don't know, right around 10 o'clock, and it was nice to see the family. But it was interesting, an interesting experience this time because there was no anger, frustration, disappointment. I really just embraced the entire experience, and it was fun. It actually, after thinking about it while I was driving home and a little bit while I was hiking today, I think I have a different strategy and a way to approach those tournaments that I think will be a lot more effective. And I won't get into all that because you don't care. But experiences are something that I've been focusing on a lot more lately, and just creating those memorable experiences with my friends, my family, anybody that I'm actually experiencing something with. I just get excited about being able to do it. Like we went last weekend, first University of Michigan basketball game that I'd ever been to when it was in season. I do think I went way back in the day, but it was an exhibition game. And it was my first Michigan game, Oliver's first Michigan game, and Amanda's first Michigan basketball game. And it was just a riot. Oliver was paying attention to every single play and yelling at the refs and yelling at the team when they'd miss a shot. It was funny. And he does it in a nice, sweet way. But it's kind of the same way that I've always been when I watch sports. But it was just amazing. I remember when the fans would stand up in front of us, he would scoot down beyond me, go around me, and stand out in the aisle so he could still see the action and what was happening. And I was just getting so excited. But as we went to that game, we thought about the different elements. Amanda got the snacks to have in the hotel room, and we planned on going swimming, and we didn't. And then we went out for a nice dinner and met up with a friend of ours, Josh, and just the whole thing. Because Amanda's extremely thoughtful. She's she is the one that's taught me the importance of the experience and thinking all through the different elements and approaching it not only in the right spirit, but approaching it in just a way that makes it more memorable. And it makes it a lot of fun. In fact, I do have that obsessive personality. I think I've kind of become a little bit addicted to the experience. And I just want to keep going from experience to experience and creating them. And obviously, to me, that's called living. And so I'm just going to continue to do that. But, as I think about my first 50 years in most specifically the last probably 20 years or 30 years. But I'm losing my train of thought. But anyway, as I think about that time, as I was building or developing my career and raising the older kids, I ended up spending so much time up in my head thinking about the different responsibilities, thinking about the deadline, thinking about, payroll that might be due, or thinking about different board activities or whatever it happened to be. I was always, as I've talked about, I didn't have very many off ramps. I'd have an on ramp and then basically hop over to the next on ramp without a break. But I would spend a lot of time up in my head and definitely not there, not present. I mean, there's events that I've been to in my life where I don't even remember any of the content of the event, and sometimes not even of any of the activities that were happening during the event. And it wasn't because of intoxication, unless you could say it was intoxication of worry and living in my head, which is, sometimes a pretty scary place to be. But if you're spending your time up in your head and you're not fully present and taking in the feelings and the emotions and all of the different elements and texture of that specific experience, it's not going to be meaningful. It's certainly not going to be memorable. And you really just kind of walk by an opportunity to put one of those memories up there in that brain with you and the people that you're experiencing with, that you can draw upon anytime and bring that back. But nope, no opportunity there because you spent too much time living in your head. And at least that's the way it was for me. So I think it is really important. I talked about some of the basics and things that you really need to take care of. And one of the things was meditation. Just being able to, take that time out each day to almost reboot your brain. Just like when you turn your computer off and then turn it back on, it kind of gets everything all back in order and it starts to run a lot more smoothly and efficiently. That's the same thing we get from not only sleep, but meditation. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be just as simple as you get done with your busyness of your day or get done with each meeting. Figure out a way to just close your eyes, take about 10 nice breaths in, and then exhale nicely, just focus on that breathing for about 10 breaths, even 3 breaths, whatever. Just give yourself an opportunity to get out of your head and get back into the moment and experience whatever it is you're doing. But it's so much fun for me, I remember the first time I ever went to Florida, which is I love that place so much, I can't even tell you. But the first time I ever went there, went down with a buddy of mine. We rented a place right on the Gulf of Mexico, spent a long weekend, and it was amazing. Waking up every morning at 6:30, which at that point I never got up at 6:30, and walking along the beach and watching the sun come up and then watching it set at night, just the full experience of that. But I remember after being there like 2 days, I called Paul and said, "Hey man, what do you think we do a company trip down here?" And back then we hardly even had enough money to make payroll. But I was like, we could buy the tickets really cheap and just have every individual pay for all the other stuff. And I was just so excited to share that experience that I was having with those guys that we literally ended up coming down there like 2 weeks later. And we did just that. And that started a tradition in Mindscape where we did an annual trip all the time. And it was always based on the experience and how much fun it could be and memorable. And that is something that we're going to be restoring at Mindscape. But it's just something that I would encourage you to do. Figure out a way, if you can, in these next 50 years, to find that off-ramp. Figure out a way to get out of your head and into the moment and work intentionally to create those experiences so that they are memorable. Because those are things that will exist long after we cease to. So that's all I got. But I'm going to continue to go on, living my life a brand new way, and creating those freaking incredible, memorable experiences with the people I love and care about. And I care about you if you're watching this video, so you're one of them. Thanks.